Okay. Vikings fans, media, everyone's freaking out about um, this Dakota Dozier situation. Why is he here? Why are they continuing to do this Dakota Dozier thing? You know, they can. We can all see that he he's not gonna be your starter. He can't be a starter. He should be allowed to be a starter. Probably shouldn't even be a backup. Um, I don't disagree with the kind of the puzzlement over this whole thing because I don't really get it either. Um, you know, it's similar to like just like the strategy of the Denver preseason game. Like I don't really understand the strategy of what they did on Saturday. Um, just like I don't really understand the strategy of continuing to even have Dozier in the mix. Um, I'm not gonna freak out about it. I guess I'm making a video out of it, so maybe I'm freaking out about it. But you know, I think the people who are freaking out about it, they have this in their mind, they have this in their head, and they're just gonna let it sit there forever. That Dakota Dozier is in line to be a starter. He's not. I said this back when they re-signed him. Again, people were freaking out when they re-signed him back in the offseason. He's got a deal with no guarantee money at all. He's one of the easiest players to cut, maybe the easiest player to cut on the whole remaining roster of 85 that just did their first cuts, and they did they did their first cuts the last couple of days. No big names. Names that maybe if you really follow, but Dakota Dozier wasn't one of those names, and so people were figuring out, oh, why haven't you cut Dakota Dozier yet? Look, you could cut him, and I think they're gonna cut him for performance and for cost. I mean, are you going to pay a little, just over $1 million to even bother with Dakota Dozier on your roster? No, and they're not going to. Um, Maybe even if they still make some move here in the next few weeks, maybe for another backup tackle, or maybe even there's been some rumors of like maybe they should go get some sort of veteran quarterback in here to be your backup. I don't think that's going to happen, but you know, I'm not worried at all about Dozier. I'm just not, because I really haven't been since whatever time it was that he re-signed, April maybe or March. And again, I don't agree with even bothering to run him out there. I would, if just run out any rookie, any other free agent, who was out there, just anybody. And of course, Dozier was awful in the Denver game. Gave up a safety. Gave up, I think it was either another holding or maybe a false start. And he was terrible, and he's going to be terrible because he's a terrible player. And I disagree with the strategy of even wasting any amount of time with him. But he's not going to be on the team. He's just not. Guess Wyatt Davis actually graded out pretty damn good for the time that he got out there on Saturday. Now you have to take that with some grain of salt, because by the time he was out there, you were not facing the Broncos A team. You were facing the reserves. But he was a reserve too, so you can take that for whatever it's worth. But you always have to do the barring injury thing. But Dakota Dozier is not going to be on this roster after the final cuts. He may not even survive like the cuts after the Colts game this weekend, because they do like one round of cuts after each preseason game this year, and I think they ramp up the number of cuts after each game. So I forget what the total is you have to cut after the Colts game, but he might not even survive that game. he might not even survive that. He's not going to be out there in week 1. He's not. He's not going to be starting. Oli Udoh's going to start with Wyatt Davis waiting in the wings. I'll keep saying it till I run out of words. It's going to be Davis and Darisaw at some point during the season. Both. Kind of, might just depend on performance by Hill and Udoh. Might depend on injury. Who knows? But, and maybe it's a mistake to just have Oli Udoh as the presumptive starter. Because, he doesn't have much experience. And it might be a mistake. We'll see. But the mistake isn't going to be that they're going to be putting out Dakota Dozier as a starting guard. It's just not going to happen. And, the people freaking out about it, I really think are looking for things to freak out about. Like, there's things you could freak out about with the Vikings, like unvaccinated star players and other injuries and tough schedule and all these things. But, you're wasting your angst on Dakota Dozier because he's a non-entity. He's going to be cut. They can save money, and at best would be like a third stringer anyway. You're not gonna pay $1 million plus to a third string guard. You're just not. And I don't know when he's going to be cut. You could justify cutting him very easily after the game last week. They didn't do it. He's here through the Colts game. Maybe he'll be here through the Chiefs game. I don't know. But I'm not going to freak out about it because I've been saying since they brought him back, he's just a non-entity. He's just a camp body. And you can cut him with no money lost whatsoever. And I think that's what they're going to end up doing is just cutting him and moving on. You can complain about them giving the guy any run in camp, but and I don't agree with putting him out there, but it's not going to be this nightmare scenario where he's starting in Cincinnati. It's just not. So, as I often tell Vikings fans, just calm down.